we will discuss factor by grouping. How to factor by grouping? Two things to know. First, pairs of terms that have a common factor are first grouped together. Second thing to know, there will be a repeated use of the distributive property. Let's take an example. Six y cubed minus 21y squared minus 4y plus 14. How to factor this? We said pairs of terms that have a common factor are grouped together. Okay, what are the terms that have a common factor? We can group these two together, and also we can group these two together. How to proceed? So we will take 6y cubed minus 21y squared grouped together. Also, this would be minus open parentheses, so here will be 4y minus 14. Okay, we grouped these two together and these two together. Okay, if you now take the greatest common factor here, we can say that we have 3y squared. Okay, then we will be lifting with 2y minus 7. Okay, what about here? If we take, for example, 2 outside, we will be left by 2y minus 7. You can see right now these two resulted. Okay, so if we take now the greatest common factor as, let's say, 2y here minus 7, open parentheses, we will be left by this one and this one. So open parentheses, we would have 3y squared minus 2. Your factorization is done. Let's have another example. Let's say we have a squared plus 10ab plus 25b squared minus c squared. So if you look at this example, here we have a squared, here we have plus ab, and here we have b squared. We have a squared, this is equal to, this is here a squared plus 10ab plus 25b squared. Okay, we will be left by c here alone. Okay, so this, it is maybe the sum of binomial, if you remember, a plus b all squared. We said it is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now we will check. We have here a square and we have here b squared is 5b. If you square it, you will get 25b squared. We have a square and 5b squared. So let's check if they really form this. Okay, check here. A plus 5b all square is equal to what? The first term square plus 2 multiplied into the first and the second. This means 2 multiplied into the first and second is 10 ab plus the second term square, which is 25b squared. So it is exactly this one. Okay, therefore we will write it in this form. Okay, This is equivalent to a plus 5b all square minus c square. Now you can see we have a difference of two perfect squares, so the sum multiplied into the difference, therefore it is a plus 5b, okay, plus c, close parenthesis, open parenthesis again, we have a plus 5b minus c. Okay, now you proceed. We will be left with a plus 5b plus c, and here we will have a plus 5b minus c, and your factorization is done. Now let's take another example. B square plus b minus q square. So what I am going to do is that I will take these two together, okay, because they form the difference of two perfect square, right? Minus q square together, and I would take plus here p minus q also together. What about this one? We can factor this. It is the sum multiplied into the difference. Okay, here we will be left by plus b minus q. Okay, are we done? No, we take the greatest common factor as b minus q. So take the greatest common factor as b minus q aside, have b plus q, okay, and here you will have plus 1. Now complete, we'll have b minus q multiplied in b plus q plus 1, and your factorization is done. Let's now take another example. Let's take this example, 3x cubed plus x squared plus 6x plus 2. So what to do right now? If you look at this and you look at this, if you factor it, you will have, for example, x squared here outside, then you will have 3x plus 1, okay, and this, if you factor it, if you take 2 outside, you will have 3x plus 1. Then therefore our grouping should be like this. So proceeding to solve the question, this is equal to, we will group 3x cubed plus x squared together and 6x plus 2 together. So now take the greatest common factor here. We will have here x squared outside and open parenthesis, so we will have 3x plus 1, and if you take the greatest common factor here, you would put here 2 and open parenthesis, you will have 3x plus 1. Okay, now take the greatest common factor right now as 3x plus 1, so 3x plus 1 outside, we will be left by x squared plus 2, and your factorization is done for this question. Let's say if we have 18w cubed plus 15w squared plus 12w plus 10. How to factor this? Let's group these two together and these two together. If you notice, here we have 18 and here we have 15. This can be divided by 3, and this is also can be divided by 3. So this is a quick scan. Also we have here 12 and we have 10. This is can be divided by 3. However, this cannot be divided by 3, can be divided by 5. So this also can be divided by 5. Therefore, a quick scan how to group and what to group, okay? The terms that are, I'm not saying like terms, that will provide you a valid answer. So Let's take these two together first. If you group them, you will have 18w cubed plus 15w squared plus 12w plus 10. Now factor the greatest common factor. If you take 6 outside, it cannot divide 15, so take 3 outside. 3 can divide both, right? And w squared. Okay, so we will be left here by 6w plus 5. Okay, what about here? If we take, for example, 2 outside, then we'll be left by 6w plus 5. Okay, now we have 6w plus 5 here and 6w5 plus here. So taking it as the greatest common factor, we would have 6w plus 5 outside and open parentheses, we will be left by 3w squared plus 2, and your factorization is done for this question. Another question, if we say ax squared minus ax plus bx minus b. Okay, so what will I do? I will take this one with this one and this one with this one and check if I am correct or not. If I am getting a result, it's okay. If not, check to group by other criteria. So this is equal to, we say ax squared plus bx. I would put them together and I would put minus here, open parentheses, ax plus b. Okay, let's check now by taking the greatest common factor. Here the greatest common factor is what? X. Okay, if you take it outside, we would be left by ax, and here we will plus b. Now take the greatest common factor here. There is no greatest common factor, only will be left by ax plus b. Okay, so the greatest common factor of this expression all is ax plus b. Take ax plus b outside. Okay, then we will be left by x minus 1, and you are done for factorization of this one. If we have a squared y squared, okay, a squared y squared minus ay cubed plus ac minus cy. How to factor this? If you look at this one, if you take c away, we would be left by a minus y. Can we be left here by a minus y? Yes. Let's now group according to our first case. So let's take now, okay, a square y square minus ay cube, okay, plus ac here minus cy. Okay, so if you factor the greatest common factor here, you would have a y square, right? And you would be left by a minus y. A minus y. Now take the greatest common factor here as c, so this would be a minus y. We have now the greatest common factor as a minus y, so take it aside, you would be left with, if you take a minus y as the greatest common factor, you would be left by a y squared plus c, and your factorization is done for this. Now suppose we have 6w cubed plus 4w squared minus 15w minus 10. Okay, so how to proceed? If you can check with me, these two together if grouped, okay, and we take for example minus 5 aside, we would be left by 3w plus 2, right? Now if we group these two together and take the greatest common factor as 2w squared, we would be left by 3w plus 2. Okay, so our first case is correct. So let's group in this criteria. continuing our answer. This is when grouped, we will group 6w cubed plus 4w square together, minus us outside, we would have here 15w plus 10. Okay, now take the greatest common factor. Here it is 3, no, it is 2w square, open parenthesis, we would have 3w plus 2. Okay, here we would have, if we take for example 5 outside, we would have 3w plus 2. Now take 3w plus 2 as the greatest common factor. We would say 3w plus 2 outside, open parenthesis, we would be left by 2w square minus 5, and your factorization is done. If we have 10z cube minus 15z square minus 4z plus 6, how to factor this? If we take for example these two together and we take, let's say, 2 outside, we would be left by minus 2z plus 3, right? Here if we take for example the greatest common factor as 5z square, we would be left by 2z, okay, plus or minus 3. Okay, so this opposes this. So again, if we take minus 2, it would be 2z minus 3. This means these two are the same, so our guess is correct. This factor using grouping of the first guess that we had. So our answer is equal to, group now 10z cube minus 15z square. We would here put minus, would be left by 4z minus 6. Okay, now factor the greatest common factor. We would have here 5z square, open parenthesis, we would be left by 2z, okay, minus 3. Now take the greatest common factor here. If you put here minus 2, of course, outside, we would be left by 2z plus or minus 3. Okay, so factor the greatest common factor again. We have here 2z minus 3 and here 2z minus 3. 2z minus 3 is outside, open parenthesis, we will be left by 5z square minus 2, and your factorization is done for this question.